どうぞこちらから、こちらから。奥の方へ、こちらから。
奥の方からお願いします。すみません、今日は飲ませてになりますので。
どうも先生。ありがとうございます。どうも。どうも。ようこそ。
どうも。ようこそ聖華大学。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。こんにちは。
My secret is 9 hours sleep.
We will remember that.
Then quite busy day, but then the night, 9 hours sleep, then next morning fresh.
本日大変混み合いますので、奥の席の方からできれば詰めてお座りください。ご協力お願いします。
それでは、ダライラマ14世、ご登場いただきます。皆さん、大きな拍手でお迎えください。
I thought this hall may be a little warmer, not quite cold, but very good, very good. I put it this one.
Should we make it a little warmer?
No. Okay.
Okay. So
for body, sometimes need warmer, but brain cooler, better. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
それでは本日の講演の概要を簡単にご説明します。講演のテーマですけれども、世界を自由にするための方法です。大きいテーマですね。つまり芸術や文化表現を通して私たち個人または他者とを取り巻く状況、社会またはより広い世界を少しでも自由にすることは可能でしょうか。こういったこと、あるいは少しでも生きやすくすることは可能でしょうか。こういったことを今日ちょっと探ってみたいと思います。でまず法からお話をいただいてから学生たちの Q&A のセッションに入りたいと思います。
No, here. Yes, here. Respected leaders, and I think professors, teachers, and students, and basically we all part of the humanity. So actually we are human brothers, sisters. So I usually say brothers and sisters. So indeed, I'm very, very happy to be here once more, meeting with city students of this university. So indeed, I'm very, very happy. So I would like to thank your invitation. Thank you. Then I always happy meeting with people, and particularly students, younger generation. So you are the builder of new century, this 21st century. I always describe like myself, whose age above 60s, 70s, perhaps because of president or chancellor, also maybe, I think my generation, above 50, 60s. So my generation, actually generation of 20th century. So these young people, you are generation of 21st century. 20th century gone, only in our memory. 21st century, almost now 30 years past, 87 years yet to come. So future always was it possible to change. Past is past. We cannot change. So therefore, you young people, students, you have real sort of opportunity to create happier future, better future. According to our past experience, 20th century, a lot of sort of marvelous things achieved in the 20th century. But at the same time, immense violence. I think you Japanese people, I think, suffer immensely. And also, you suffer with nuclear bombs. 2 bombs, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. So I think nobody want repeat that kind of immense violence unless we mad. Then different matter. If we have this common sense, then we must make every effort to revive that kind of century. We must make this century century of peace, century of non-violence. So, these young people, you have opportunity, same time you have responsibility to build better, happier humanity, better, happier century. So I'm very, very happy to meet with these people. Although I was told in this university, not very old, young one, but you mentioned right from the beginning, you see, you emphasis teachers and students, you say, was it the same level or consider you say part of the group. And the importance of freedom. When you mentioned that, I was much struck, impressed. I always see expressing 7 billion human beings on a fundamental level, we are same, we are equal. Here, I always is talking, saying, I suppose speaker, your audience. But actually, we are same human being. If I consider I'm something special, and I often telling, I consider importance of I'm Buddhist, I'm Dalai Lama. Then, actually, if I sort of consider importance of my own sort of special sort of position or something, actually, it makes distance from you. And then, actually, in my own mind, I isolate from you. What benefit? More isolate myself from other, then more anxiety, fear. That brings pretension, or I'm a holy person. I'm special. Actually, nonsense. We are same. Mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. Except some of the Europeans, bigger nose and different color of hair. These are nothing. So basically, we are same. And then more important, you want happy life. I want happy life. I also, you see, have the experience, sometimes my emotion creates some disturbances in my mind. You also. And then, after all, we have to live on this planet. This is only our home. And the rest of these 7 billion human beings are our brothers, sisters. Whether we like it or not, we have to live together. There's no other choice. So that's the reality. So it is extremely important to develop sense of sameness, of oneness of 7 billion human beings. There are differences. Religious faith, different nationality, and within same faith, right? Same nationality, some are poor, some are rich, some are higher position. But these are secondary, not important. And now here, the very topic of freedom. Freedom on the basis of human beings level, not certain position or certain faith. We all have the right to live peacefully. And everyone, 7 billion human beings, everyone have the right, to develop different ideas, different thought, different views, and express. So that is, I think, a meaning of freedom. And that also, I think, the very concept of human right, freedom, I think take for granted. Basic human nature is more compassionate, more gentleness. If basic human nature is something negative, then freedom, questionable. Killing, more killing, bully. The freedom does not mean you can bully other, you can cheating other, you can harm other. No. Take for granted we basically more compassionate. So anyone who really have sort of sense of concern of others' well-being, then freedom very important. Clear. So you see, you mentioned, two things, teachers and students. same sort of position or same level, I think very, very good. Sometimes you see student, just listen. Whatever teacher says, just listen. I think that is not helpful. The education is utilize our sort of basic nature of the ability of analyze. So teacher show us the way to analyze or different sort of things. Then students must utilize fully your creativity and your thinking power, analyze. Sometime back, I saw one sort of the film. It called Yes Minister. Whatever the person say, yes sir, no. When teacher explains something, you must raise questions and then discuss. So I think in order to get deeper sort of understanding about reality, questions, argument is very, very important. So therefore, the teacher side also, should open their questions and discuss. So, and then freedom, you mentioned freedom, wonderful. Since we human beings, because of this special, unique brain to think. The sensory level, some animals, even some birds, I think more ability, seeing or hearing, smelling. But we have this unique brain here. So we have tremendous sort of ability, potential to create different sort of visions or different sort of ideas, like that. So because of that, we have some, I think, unique thing is creativity. So in order to fully utilize creativity, freedom is very, very important. Now, in order to take new initiative with creative mind, must be realistic. For that, usually, many problems, we just based on appearances. And often mistakes happen. So in order to carry realistic approach, we must have the full picture about reality. So actually, education, I think the very purpose of education is to reduce gap between appearances and reality. So through education, we got the understanding about the reality. So now in education, as I briefly mentioned, the awareness. First level, from hearing, reading books, or from teachers' explanation, one knowledge on the level based on hearing. That's not sufficient. Now, as I mentioned briefly before, now all those information you received, now analyze these things through including experiment. Then your knowledge or understand, then reach second level. That is understanding of through contemplation. Thinking, analyze. That, I think, only we human beings, I think some animal, maybe, but generally we human beings, that's our unique thing. So we must analyze. When we analyze the thing, we must look the reality from various angles. From one dimension, you can't see the full picture of the reality. We must look from various angles, 4 angles or 6 angles. Try to look. That's very, very important. Then you get full picture about the reality. Then, when you carry the work or pursue the method to achieve that goal, since you know fully about the reality, so your approach becomes realistic approach. We Buddhists call analytical meditation. Buddhist meditation, not sort of simple, sort of a single-pointed mind, but analyze. That actually, everybody, you see, do that. Like that. I think the professors or teachers also, you see, daily analyze. So analytical meditation is, I think, part of our intellectual sort of work, like that. Then another factor, when we carry investigation, our mind must be neutral, so that we can see the things more objectively. If when we investigate too much sort of biased view, I want this, I want that, too much sort of desire, or attachment, or hatred dominate your mind, then investigation cannot be very objective. So mind must be very calm. So now here, the practice of compassion is very sort of effective. Anger, hatred always go together, fear. So, you see, your mind not very sort of stable. More compassionate sort of, warm-heartedness sort of attitude actually bring your self-confidence. That creates inner strength. That reduces fear. So your mind really then become very open. From then you can look things more holistic, more objective. So then I often used to telling, practice of compassion should not consider part of practice of religion, whether believer or non-believer. We all come from our mother. We all grown up where? Grown up with parents' affection. So, as soon as we're born, we received immense sort of affection from our mother, from our parent. So that experience really goes very deep in our blood. So we all human beings come from mother and survived with mother's milk. We all have the potential of love, affection. At the young age, these things are very alive. But when we grown up, the environment and the modern society, very much materialistic culture, materialistic sort of life. then you see these basic human values then eventually becoming dormant. Right? So you pay some attention about this inner value. Now, usually I use common sense, common experience, then scientific finding. Number of scientists now, they realize through their experiment, calm mind, very good for our health. Agitated mind, fear, anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. So, therefore, you see, use these sort of factors, then you can develop firm conviction. So long we are human beings, these basic, deeper human values are very important. These are the basis of our happy life, happy family, happy community, happy, eventually, happy humanity. So that I want to share with you. So now question, answer. I'm going to sit there. Okay.
それでは今から学生との対話という時間に、入らせていただきます。で、じゃあ準備 OK ですね。はい。じゃあ質問お願いいたします。はい、
どんな時に、幸せを感じますか？
I think when you see the news, you see the report. Now, for example, the recent Philippine, the typhoon destruction. Many parts of the world really showing I think, the spirit of solidarity. We are same human being. Don't care what nationality, what faith, rush come to help. I think these are, hopeful signs. These, as I mentioned earlier, these sort of concepts or these sort of activities, you see, come through the sense of oneness of humanity. These things, very good. Then me personally, at least 8 to 9 hours sound sleep, also you see, source of happiness, source of calm mind. Okay. I think, you see, there are signs, we humanity, I think, are becoming more mature, including some scientists, now really paying serious attention about our inner value. In the past, you see, scientists only pay external things. Now their sort of field of science research now expanding, including mind or emotions. I think these are very, very healthy development. So there is real sort of possibility if we make effort constantly. I think this century, at least the later part of this century, can be really peaceful world. Thank you. Next question.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you. ありがとうございました。
はい、私はいつもすべてのことを精一杯やっているんですが、それはいつ死んでもいいと悔いが残らないようにするためで、自分の生きていることの喜びにはつながっていません。生きることに肯定的になれずにいます。そこで肉体が自由で精神は不自由なものだと思っていたんですが、最近逆ではないのかなと 考え始めました。で、ダライ・ラマさんにとっての生と死の自由についての考えをお聞かせください。
As I mentioned earlier, see, one aspect of the world, like Syria and many other cases, you see, really very, very sort of bad. But if you look from wider perspective, again, as I mentioned earlier, humanity, I think, is becoming more mature out of their tremendous sort of suffering problem. I think one clear example, desire for peace against violence, I think everywhere that growing. I think Japanese also, I think, one leading nation, also movement for peace against war. So I think that worldwide sort of movement. And then ecology. I think these are very, very, and then also I mentioned, you see, some kind of sort of solidarity of humanity. That also now growing. So these are, so if we look more holistic, then there are plenty of good things which also they help us to be more optimistic. If you look one side, one sort of event, negative thing, then sad, almost as hopeless. So I think individual life, also you see, you should look your life more wider way. Then you can see many positive things. When some negative things happen, some tragic things happen, only look that, and that also closely look, then it really, that sort of tragic appears something unbearable. Same tragic, look from wider perspective, from distance. Oh, yes, it is very bad. I have to make effort to overcome that. But okay, look from wider perspective, then you can keep your determination, your hope. How old are you?
19歳です。19歳です。
19です。
So, I think you can think seriously the opinion from mouth a person 78-year-old, and that life also, you see, not through easy way, lot of problem, lot of tragedy. But I always look from wider perspective. You see, that keep my enthusiasm. So you, 90 years old, I think, if may I say so, you have lesser knowledge, less of experiences. As I mentioned earlier, these things, think, when you look, when you face some problem, then look from wider perspective. That's one thing. Then, key thing, as I mentioned earlier, use our intelligence fully. And then keep warm-heartedness, combine human intelligence, human warm-heartedness combined. Then your life become meaningful life. So each day, each week can be constructive. So you should not think, I mean, you should not feel something, this is something helpless or something like that. No. You are young, long future. I think you will be a builder of happy century, one of the constructor or one of the builder, no question. Now self-confidence is important. Okay. Okay. Feel happy.
そこで、 どうぞ前に出てきてください。
So important is, you see, if possible, help other, serve other. If not, at least resist harming other. Then, you see, you feel self-confidence, no sources of regret. That way, day, week, month, years go like that. You will not feel some kind of sort of because of the regret way, full of confidence. And also, you see, you can carry your life truthful, honest. That automatically brings transparent, you see, brings trust from your community. So then you get more friend, more smile, more comrade. Okay. And then also, you see, carry that way, some failure must come. Then we Tibetan have the saying, 9-time failure, 9-time re-effort. So don't feel some kind of hopelessness. Very important to keep optimism. Clear. Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
平和な世界の実現について、質問があります。の方の書かれた著書をいくつか拝見したんですが、その中で人間の性の本質というものをその幸福の追求というところに置いてますよね。で私は、またでも、その人々が幸福を追求する上での価値観とか利害の相違っていうものによってやっぱり争いっていうものが生じてしまうのではないかって考えている部分もあって、しかしながらもちろん僕たちが理想とするべき世界っていうのは万人が万人にとっての幸福を尊重してそれを追求できる世界の実現であって、もしそんな平和な世界の実現が可能であるとするならば、特に今学びの途中にある僕たち学生がまず第一になすべきことやできるべきことというのは何だとお考えになりますか？
I usually is telling people, in order to build peaceful world, peaceful world does not mean no longer any source of problem or source of conflict. So long we human beings remain on this planet, some source of conflict always there, different views, different interests always there. So what we should do is, whenever we face about the conflict, then we must talk with respect others' interest, and others also consider as a human brothers, sisters. And also, you see, my future also depends on them. I think the concept of war, victory of yourself, defeat of, destroy of enemy is old thinking. According to old reality, yes, individual nations are more or less self-sufficient. So destruction of your enemy is your victory. Now today, economy, environment, and many factors heavily interdependent. there is no clear cut, my interest and the enemy's interest. We very much interdependent. Therefore, destruction of your enemy is actually destruction of yourself. So, thinking this line, more realistic, then whenever we face some problem, we have to find the solution through talk, through dialogue. So I often telling, in order to build peaceful world, peaceful century, we must make effort. This century should be century of dialogue. Here, as I mentioned before, realistic views and a sense of compassion. These two things are very important. So I think that now that through education, through awareness, then since all problems have to solve through talk, so now weapon no longer any use. So we have to think step by step, demilitarize the world. That is possible. I think Japan, I think a leading nation opposed nuclear weapon, isn't it? Huh? Huh? So you see, try to promote demilitarization. That's possible. As far as I know, I think small country in Latin America, Central America, Costa Rica, no military forces. So, you see, that nation, the money used for education, some others of constructive field. Similar, same nation, spend a lot of money for defense. Some African state, they spend a lot of money at the education field and constructive works, much so today, to show neglect like that. So therefore, I think once we create the whole world demilitarized, I think then a lot of money we can save and use for constructive sort of work, education, and remove the poverty. Now here, huge gap, rich and poor, global level and also national level. And on top of that, a lot of corruptions. We have to fight now these things, not killing each other. So I think you, bright, young Japanese, you must make, also they make contribution, better world, like that. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
私は陶芸を学ぶ学生なんですけれども、陶芸には長い歴史があって、私がそこに関われる時間はほんの一瞬でしか多分ないと思うんです。で、ダライ・ラマさんはチベット仏教の歴史の中でご自分の役割っていうものを考えられることはありますか？
I consider as my main, interest or commitment, preservation of Tibetan rich Buddhist culture and rich Buddhism and Buddhist culture. Of course, I think last almost 4 centuries, Dalai Lama institution, you see, carry both responsibility, temporal as well as spirituality. Now that 2011, I completely retired, and that sort of tradition end. So now my main sort of concern is preservation of Tibetan rich Buddhism and Buddhist culture, and protection of Tibetan environment. Environment very, very delicate. Some Chinese ecologist wrote one article I saw a few years ago. See, he considered Tibetan plateau is, he considered third pole, because effect to global warming from Tibetan plateau is as much as South Pole and North Pole. So he considered Tibetan plateau is third pole. So very, very essential, very, very important. Then major rivers which cover whole Asia, they come from Tibetan plateau. Original source come from Tibetan plateau. So it is very important, and at the same time, due to high altitude and dry climate, rather delicate. So these three things, my main sort of was a concern, and I fully committed. Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
私は日本の学校で学力が重視されるようになってきて、芸術を通しての上層教育が少なくなってきていると感じています。今の日本には学力だけでなくて、自分で感じる時間や考える時間、考える術、考える機会などが子どもたちに必要だと思っています。ダライ・ラマさんは芸術教育の重要性についてどう思われますか？
I don't get the real sort of point, your question. So in any way, I think the Japanese education system, I think you should know better. I don't know. So I think you ask, you see, the chancellor or president, and more discussion with your professors. That's, I think, more important, more realistic. I don't know. I'm just a visitor. Few days, go here and there, and say hello, 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 like that. I don't know. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your question.
ありがとうございました。じゃあ次お願いします。
はい。私は学生なんで、朝起きて学校行ったり、たまにサボったり、ご飯を食べたり、お友達とおしゃべりをして、で家帰ってゲームしたり、本読んだりとか、で夜中まで起きててお昼に起きたりとか、そういう一日を過ごしているんですけれども、ダライ・ラマ様は一体どんな一日のスケジュールをされてますかっていうのと、その一日の中でどういうことを考えていらっしゃるのかなっていうのをお聞きしたいです。
When I was young, I have not much interest about study. I prefer play. Go like that. But then later, of course, I always interesting. I have sort of keen interest, learn new things. I think from childhood, I have sort of always sort of full because of the curiosity. Whenever I see something, I always want, what's the cause? What's the effect? What's the nature? So learning is very, very important. So I have still, now these days, I have one regret. That is my age, around 10 to 15. I think the best period for study. But during that period, I was great reluctant student, lazy student. So that still I feel regret.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。Okay、じゃあ今日辰巳さんお願いします。
My name is Tatsumi Su, and I'm currently a second-year student studying Japanese comics at this university. My dream is to make comics my profession in Japan, but it is a highly competitive field. Unfortunately, only a few make it as a profession. I know I am a little young to be asking such a question. I was wondering if you have any advice to people who are not able to accomplish their dreams. I was thinking this question would not just apply to me, but for people of all ages with different goals in general.
I appreciate your motivation, your view, very good. Like comic, these things, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
I know the Tintin. That I love, very good.
That's a great comment.
So otherwise, I don't know, you see. So, as I mentioned earlier, you see, keep your enthusiasm and make effort. Sometimes, naturally, you get disappointment, but then, still, you see, you should keep your enthusiasm, your determination. And you, young person, you come from which country?
I'm from Taiwan, but I grew up in Japan.
From Taiwan, oh?
Yes.
Very good. You see, Taiwan, I think besides keeping the Chinese tradition, the technology, these things, I think really highly developed. Very good. So, keep your enthusiasm, optimism. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
ありがとうございました。
Good afternoon. My question is about ambition. I feel that my ambition is both helping and not helping me. It gets me to places I didn't think I could go, but it also makes me restless and I find it difficult to be content. So my question is, how do I deal with my ambition?
Then, as I mentioned earlier, they analyze your ambition. It's sometimes unrealistic ambitions. Also, you see sometimes happen. Share your desire or something like that without knowing the reality. So, I think a decision, when you make a decision, should not sort of hurriedly decide. Analyze, and also, you see, consult with your friends and seek some different suggestions. And you yourself carry research. Then, once you feel now that I can achieve, it is realistic, then decide. So sometimes it's quite natural, you see. At a young age, sometimes I want this, I want that, that kind of thing. So lack of sort of thorough research and as a result, lack of full confidence, I can achieve this, clear. So that I think important to analyze. And then also when you try to analyze the thing, must be objective. Too much desire, too much attachment. Also, you see, not help. Unbiased. So look objectively. Then make effort. Then ultimately, I'm Buddhist monk, so Buddha says, you are your own master. So ultimately, all responsibility on your own shoulder. So I always think it that way. I'm my own master. So final responsibility is my own shoulder. So I have to sort of investigate like that. You from America?
I'm from the Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yes.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you so
あ
much.
りがとうございました。最後の質問です。よろしくお願いします。
聖華大学の学生です。私たちは自由という言葉を知っています。ただ、ある人にとっての自由というものが別の人にとっての全く別のものであるということも多々あることだと思います。そこでお聞きしたいのですが、そのたくさんある自由という形というものは全て共存することができるのでしょうか。またそれが共存できるのならば、誰かの世界を自由にするということは他の世界を自由にするということにつながるのでしょうか。
The freedom, individual freedom, and freedom of community, of course, freedom of speech, freedom of thought. These are, I think, universal value. Look, in early part of 20th century, certain sort of systems like Bolshevik revolution, I think Marxism, I think good. As far as socio-economic theory is concerned, I'm Marxist. No question, I'm socialist. Mainly the Marxist economic theory, very much emphasis equal distribution. It's a moral principle. Whereas capitalism, only profit, concerned about profit. However, since Lenin, I think certain sort of practice, the censorship, centralized, and sometimes very cruelty. These, under certain circumstances, these develop. But within the century, changed in the European continent, including Soviet Union. It is changed. So these and Berlin Wall disappear not by force, but by popular peaceful movement. And these are clearly shows the strength of truth. Freedom, part of our life. Human being, freedom is very essential. So now people's problem of China also now changing. A lot of people, a lot of Chinese intellectuals really now expressing. Even you see the former Prime Minister, Wen Jiabao, many occasions you see express China need political reform, China need democracy. Many occasions he publicly sort of express like that. So you see things are changing. In Cuba, already much changed and it's still changing. And North Korea, at this moment, quite close, quite restricted, or quite strictly closed. But have to change. So world trend, global level, world trend, openness, democracy. Although not very successful, but look, the Northern African the spring, African spring. These also, you see, trend. You see, people want freedom, democracy, like that. So that's a world trend. And better education, better communication. Now, I think, desire for freedom. So no force can stop that. And actually, why I sort of retired from political responsibility is the world belongs to 7 billion human beings, 7 billion humanity, not religious leaders, not kings or queens, no. Some occasion in America, I express, America belongs to about over 300 millions of American people, not Democratic Party or Republican Party. So that's the nature. World belongs to humanity. So the best way to govern humanity themselves through election, free election, democratic way. So I think world witness different political system or economic system carry as an experiment. Then finally, individual creativity is key factor. Otherwise, not much develop. So therefore, in order to fully utilize individual creativity is freedom, individual freedom, and freedom of thought. And through that way, freedom of speech. Like that. These are very, very essential. So I think no force can stop that. That's a natural trend.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
今、ポーから素晴らしいまとめの言葉をいただいたような気がします。で、もう時間をしてますので、最後に、質問した学生たちから花束を贈呈したいと思います。もう一度拍手お願いします。ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
Come together. Together.
みんな一緒に、手をつないで。はいはい。一緒になりましょうよ。
You are taller. Come behind.
はいはい。
Touch.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
とってもいい時間、本当に心から感謝しております。ありがとうございました。
So, thank you. Thank you. 你好，你好。Thank you. Thank 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 you. Okay. Thank you very much. I usually carry my sort of life completely informal way. So if that, too much informality, if some sort of mistakes, apologize. So you Japanese, I think you love more formality. So you see my informal, complete informality, if you feel a little uncomfortable, then apologize. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.